Oh, okay. See, I said it's terrible. I'm like, oh, yay.
Your three favorite characters from the show Pirates of Italia and why?
My three favorite characters from Italia and why? I love Friends because I like playing from them. And Friends pops up. No, I love France because I think France is a riot, and I love playing it. And when I kind of went in, I did the worst possible French accent I could imagine, and I loved it. I'm like, are you serious? Okay. That's not how French people talk, but that's not what it's about. I think America is hysterically funny, especially because that character kind of encapsulates everything I think is wrong with America. Everything I think is right. I'm like, this is awesome, but like seeing, just seeing that, like I don't know, like there's a moment where America is like looking at a map of the world, and the only thing on it is America. It's like, what? I don't see it on the map, and I'm like, that's perfect. That's absolutely. And I love Russia. Like I don't want to have Jerry Jules babies. Russia. I think Russia is hysterical. Like the first little scene I heard from Italia that he was in was when he said, "It makes me pleasure smile." And I'm like, That's the greatest thing ever. Those are my three favorites. There's a bunch of. I love the whole ensemble of that. Like I love Italy. Todd is amazing. Todd is hilarious. So it's hard to pick three favorites, but off the top of my head, those are. Italy would be my other favorite if I hadn't already chosen France. But like, I'm not going to choose France. All right, let's see. Okay, yes, you have the question.
Specifically, how did you get interested in Kyoya?
Interesting story of that. Kyoya, that Oron came at a very interesting time in my career because I was just making the transition from being a part-time voice actor, because I had a whole other career as an advertiser for like almost a decade when I was doing voice acting on the side. And then when I had the chance to do some writing and directing, I took it and thought, why not? This will be fun. And so I quit my day job and became full-time with Funimation, which was very daunting, very terrifying. I've never worked for myself in a contract before, which is its own mystery. And at the time, I hadn't even really started writing. I was doing something called time coding, which is something you do for other writers. You basically build a script template for them so they know where all the lines begin and end and all that stuff. It's grunt work essentially, but it's decent money. And so I was doing this, and it was kind of you do that for a while to prove that you can write, and then the writer will say, well, hey, why don't you take the helm on this show? So I was time coding episode 8, which was the very first episode of Oron that I saw. Wasn't aware of the show, had never heard of it before. Heard that it was coming on the line, that you must have been doing auditions for, because Caitlin Glass, of course, taught that show to everybody. It was like her favorite show. It was her reason for being with that show. Like, you cannot imagine. Like, if we were speaking about Oron, Caitlin Glass is good looking too. She absolutely adores that show, for good reason. It's a fantastic show. It's one of the best I've ever seen. And I would say that even if I hadn't been in it. I really think it's a remarkable show. But so here I am, time coding episode 8. Which is the Beach House episode, for those of you that don't know. I was on fun calling it the, hey, Kyoya, like, Haruhi, let me teach you a lesson with my shirt off. Like, and I'm watching the show going, well, this is cute and fun and zany, and what the hell is that? Really all of a sudden, it's kind of sexy, and I'm confused, and we don't know what nervous. And I'm talking this, and it's that scene when that very intimate and harrowing and somewhat frightening scene where they have this exchange, and you're like, oh my God, is he gonna wow, this is whoa. And when he walks away, after Tamaki comes in and has a fit and he gets the stuff straight, he's like, whatever, moron. He walks away, and you see, as he's walking down, you see this lovely back walking down the hallway, and he says something that I can't remember now exactly what was written by Monica Rial, who actually wrote that script, but he says, in response, out of earshot, to what Haruhi said about we can never really do this, he says, I could do that, huh? Eating ocean in its own way, which is kind of his watchword, eating ocean in its own way. And when I saw that in the Japanese time coding, I'm like, I really dig that character. Like, there's a lot going on upstairs. This is a very complex show. Like, when you have the zany and the goofy, which is all wonderful, there's a lot of really subversive things going on in this show, which is like, this is really cool. And so when that happened, I was like, okay, so I know this show's coming on the wire, and I know we're going to audition for a few months, but I really want to play Celia, which I never want to do. I never like to know what I'm auditioning for until the day of, because as an actor, it's like canceling, you're not going to get it. So you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. And so I'm like, that was the first character I'd ever really wanted to play, just from having seen a little bit of it. And so I went in, and I auditioned, and David loved it, and I got the part. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! I promise, I'll never want a character again, I promise. And a few months later, when we actually got to do that scene, we did that scene in one take for me, because I just knew it. And it was great. There was nothing more sad, fewer moments more satisfying in my entire career than when he says that line, the last bit of that scene, and then silence, and then I hear nothing from Caitlin, which means she's either left the room to go to the bathroom, or she was just done, and she was like, oh my god, that's amazing, and we were both like, we had moments. We're now officially on each other's Christmas cards. So that's how I became interested in Celia, and incidentally interested in the show. I think All On is a fantastic show, and for those of you that haven't seen it, maybe you've been living under a rock on Mars with your eyes closed and fingers in your ears for the past like 5 years. You should watch it. It's a great, great show, and you should. And I stress this: you should go back and watch it again years later when you're a little older, because it's a different journey every time. It's a really subtle show, subtler than you may think. All right.